What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Press X Podcast, Ep.1. We did it.
Did we?
we did something.
We do anything?
It may not be a good idea. We will have to see.
It's always a good idea.
That's true. So thank you so much for joining us, all of our new subscribers, everybody that watched the promo video. Very happy to bring this to you guys. Some housekeeping. First off, the promo video was actually a full episode that we shot.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it was a full episode that we shot that we're not releasing, though I may cut up pieces of it and release that later when I get to editing it.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in it.
There is. I really liked the Star Wars conversation.
Yeah.
And just the disappointing games conversation. The news isn't very interesting anymore.
No, it was nothing.
Yeah, there was nothing. It was a holiday, and it's old news by now.
Definitely.
We have a lot in store for the show, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and keep checking back. We're going to be doing some giveaways. But it's only for subscribers, so make sure you hit subscribe. And
I can win stuff?
You can win stuff. If you're a subscriber, you can win. We will be swapping out the set basically every episode with just different things. This side of the wall is mine. That side's Kellen's. He's not doing a very good job.
I ain't got nothing yet.
Oh, I'm Kevin McManus. This is Kellen Willard, by the way.
Hey.
I guess that's important.
Is it?
I don't know. Let's go on to the gaming news of the week.
What do we got?
First off, we have 8 things to talk about. Number 1. The Xbox One exclusive Scalebound has been delayed until 2017. The last gameplay video shown was not running very well and it was likely delayed due to optimization and improving the overall experience. Have you seen this game?
No.
You haven't seen anything about it?
I've heard the name, and I know that's a long way away, so I'm not concerned.
Yeah, it's a Platinum Games game. They did Bayonetta 2, which is a home run in my book. I think it's one of the best Wii U games. They also did that Transformers game that recently came out. That was pretty mixed. They also did The Legend of Korra, that Avatar game, which was pretty mixed. So they definitely have good games, but they also have middle ground ones that just aren't great, which hampers my excitement for this.
Yeah. And
then on top of that, I watched the gameplay and frame rate, it doesn't look good. Like, the game didn't look interesting. Basically what it is, it's an action RPG. It's an action game, but you have a giant dragon with you.
I like it so far.
Yeah, so you're doing combos and your dragon helps in on doing all these combos. They specialize in these action games.
Yeah.
Very God of War style combat. But they're going to have a 4-player mode where it's 4 people and 4 dragons, it sounds neat in theory, but when you watch the gameplay, it was a little underwhelming.
Sounds chaotic.
That too. Yeah, it's big maps. It looks like a much bigger game than what they're used to delivering. But 2017, real far away.
Full year.
Very early to announce the delay, so they clearly weren't going to hit their target.
No, they weren't close.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft came to them and said, hey, your game's coming out in August, and they were like, no. It's definitely not. And they're like, then it's coming out next year. They just didn't have a spot for it. That's quite possible. But either way, a year away, a long time. I'm sure we'll see more from this game, and hopefully it's improved, and I can get excited about it because it's just not something I'm interested in playing this year. There's a lot of good games coming out this year.
It's going to be a good year.
Number 2. Xbox One exclusive Recore has been delayed.
Yep.
The game was supposed to launch So the game was supposed to apparently launch early 2016, which I did not know.
Yeah, I thought it was farther away.
Especially because they haven't even shown the game yet.
Yeah.
We've seen a CG trailer, and that is it.
I've heard the name a lot, but...
Yeah, and apparently they delayed it till late 2016. I didn't know this game was coming out in 2016.
Yeah, I hadn't heard a lot about it.
But I'm very excited for this game in particular because... it's created by Inafune. What great game did he make?
None.
Mega Man. Mighty Number 9. Soul Sacrifice, which is actually a very good game.
That's fair.
So it's his project. A little strange that he's doing an Xbox One exclusive just because he's Japanese. You would think he'd do a Nintendo or a Sony game. This is probably the Xbox game I'm looking most forward to, and the fact that it's apparently coming out this year, or so they say, has me excited.
It's supposed to be.
Did you see you've seen the trailer for this game?
Yeah, it's been a little while, but yeah.
Yeah, so they talked about the gameplay a little bit, and basically the way it's going to work, it's another third-person action game, probably lots of shooting. but you have an AI companion in this one instead of a dragon.
Same thing.
And apparently when he dies or to solve puzzles, you can take out his core, which is his AI, and put it into a different robot being.
Okay.
So you can make him a small little thing that can run through areas, or you can make him a big golem that can help you fight. Interesting idea, and I can't wait to actually see the game.
Need to see gameplay of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything at all.
Sounds good to me.
This story's interesting. Kotaku has leaked the next Assassin's Creed game, as always. They leak it every year. But Assassin's Creed Empire looks to be a trilogy that's taking place in Egypt and possibly moving towards Rome. The most interesting part of the leak, to me at least, is that it's apparently launching in 2017, breaking away from their annualization. They're taking a break off Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that was part of the reason I lost interest in Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
Yeah, for some reason, it's like sports games do it, and I don't think it's necessary, but I'm semi-okay with it. I don't know why. With the Assassin's Creed and Call of Duties, I just... it's just draining.
It's too much too fast.
So it's nice that they're taking a break, one. Hopefully it comes back way more polished. I think the only time there was more than a year in between an Assassin's Creed, it was Assassin's Creed 1 and 2.
1 and 2, yeah.
And people liked 1 and loved 2.
2 was the best one I've played.
Yeah, so hopefully they come back swinging with this new trilogy, apparently.
Yeah.
And Egypt's an awesome place to make it take place.
Seems like a good setting to me.
You might meet Jesus and head over to Rome. I don't know what they're like. It's kind of a weird time period to pick, but we'll see how that goes. Also, I said here that Watch Dogs 2, 2016. I'm thinking they might start rotating Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed every other year.
I could see that.
I don't want that.
Why not?
Because that's almost just as bad as annual. Like Watch Dogs, just Assassin's Creed in modern day.
Yeah.
So I don't personally want that.
Instead of a knife, you have a phone.
Threatening.
Yeah,
but that's what I think is going to happen. It has been reiterated that Final Fantasy 15 is indeed coming in 2016. Final Fantasy 15 was revealed as Final Fantasy Versus 13 in 2006.
10 years.
It's been a while.
That's a long gap.
Yeah, I saw they announced it and they posted a tweet, I believe, that said like "See you in 2016," and it was a picture of the boy band that is the main cast of the game. Do you have any interest in this game?
I do, but it's waning because I keep talking about it and it hadn't come out
10 years.
Yeah, I really want to play the game, or I did. I'll still play it.
I got the episode Do Sky demo, and I played it, and I didn't like it very much. It's so Western.
Yeah, you don't like Western RPGs.
Yeah, I enjoy that Final Fantasy likes to do something different with every installment they do.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. Some people hate them, some people love them. This is one that I just don't think is going to stick with me. But if it does indeed come out this year, I will be impressed, because I don't think this is coming out this year.
Really?
Yeah, it's been 10 years, and I think we'll see it after the 11th year.
Push back again?
I think it's a 2017 game, but once again, much like Recore, pleasantly surprised if it shows up.
Yeah, it's got a lot to compete with this year.
It's a big, that's true, and it's just a big title.
It's huge, yeah.
Kind of put it with like Metal Gear Solid 5 probably, with how big the launch will be.
It'd be gigantic.
Sony has filed a trademark for video game software titled Days Gone on December 28th. Many games, including Bloodborne, The Order, Entwine, and Horizon, have been leaked this way. And then I wrote, is this Sony Ben's new game? Sony Ben hasn't made a game in so long. They've been working on something. We know they're doing a PS4 game. It could also just be a small release like Unfinished Swan or Journey or Entwine. They do a lot of those. What do you think Days Gone is?
I'm not sure. I hope it's not another zombie game, though. That's kind of what it sounds like.
Sort of.
Or something like along
something
those
similar.
lines. I want something original.
Yeah, it sounds to me, I don't know, it's hard to tell from a name.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have said the same thing about The Last of Us as just being a small game based on the title. But Days Gone to me sounds like a small game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like Drawn to Death or Kill Strain, kind of a first-party studio partnership type thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
for something smaller.
I could see that.
I don't think it's Sony's Ben's game because they're going to work on Siphon Filter PS4.
I would play that.
Been waiting forever for that next Siphon Filter.
Long time.
Number 6. PlayStation Plus accidentally gave out the wrong game for free this week. History Legends of Patton Campaign was announced as the free PlayStation Plus game this month. History Legends of War Patton, words are hard sometimes, was the correct game, and it has been corrected since. That was a PSP game that's not even available on the store that they announced that they were giving out.
They were close. Close.
I looked into these games because I didn't know what they were.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually like the History Channel.
Really?
It's a History Channel sponsored game.
Sounds good to me.
And then, yeah, Legends of
History
War. It's just a little bizarre. It's not too big of a story.
That's an
but
odd game to.
I thought it was
PS Plus.
kind of funny. Yeah, it was a history game, and then it's just a turn-based strategy game.
Just a World War II RTS game.
Mm-hmm. People like the games like that, though.
I do.
Nintendo has revealed. Sorry, number 7. Nintendo has revealed slightly more about its newest console, codenamed the NX, saying they are constantly looking to provide gamers with new way to play. And then I put, stop it, Nintendo. The NX is rumored to be released later this year.
Have you seen the patent for the controller on these things?
Yes.
It looks not good.
It looks like a tablet. It looks like a giant touchscreen controller.
That's what the patent looks like, yeah.
Yeah. Some people think it's going to be a console that is also a handheld, so you can bring your game just with you and then bring it home and play it on your TV. Why?
I don't know.
They have the 3DS. It's doing very well.
Extremely well.
They could make name it not the new 3DS because that's
the new 3DS.
A terrible name, but they could come out with another handheld and kill, and then they just need to make a console that's as strong as at least the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And has a controller. Make wireless GameCube controllers. People would be very happy with.
Yeah.
And make a hardcore console. Release it with. It will definitely release with the new Zelda game.
Yeah, for sure.
Twilight Princess was released on GameCube and Wii at the same time. I fully expect Legend of Zelda Wii U, they haven't even given it a name, to be Legend of Zelda NX and be a cross release as well. And I think it'll launch with either a Mario or a Metroid as well. I'm leaning more towards Mario just because if they do Mario 64 too, people would lose their minds.
They should do a GameCube 2 with Mario 64 too, and they would.
Oh my gosh!
They would sell infinite.
I would buy that because I'm. This is gonna sound me. I feel like I was tricked into getting a Wii U. Like it looked kind of fun, and I was like,
yeah.
I guess I'll grab one. And then I was really disappointed with it up until some titles like Bayonetta was a big one.
Yeah.
Splatoon, Mario Maker. These games have made it definitely a worthwhile console. But for a while there, I had it, and I was just like, "What's this thing doing in my house?"
Sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't my smartest choice. So hopefully they bring back a hardcore console.
They need
to get the gamers back on board, get the third parties back on board that all left them because they do motion controls.
That's all they got. That's all they got.
Yeah. So and they go back to their roots, which is hardcore games. This story broke my heart. Number 8. Oculus Rift is the first big step towards VR, and its pre-orders are now live. The retail version of the unit will cost you $599 to pre-order. Oculus, as recent as 2 months ago, stated that they were targeting a $300 to $400 price point, and the unit will also not be open source. For its apps will have to be run through Facebook's approval.
Yikes.
So we'll start with that. It was a Kickstarter. A lot of people kickstarted it for a lot less than that and got test units, which is fine. And then Facebook bought them out, and now all those Kickstarter promises are kind of not promises
kind of
anymore. Yeah, because they're owned by different management. So $599. How's that make you feel?
Like I don't want it.
So would you want it at all, first off?
I would rather have a console version, I think. Although this one does sound pretty good.
Mm-hmm. How much?
Some good ideas.
How much would the pre-order have to be for you to pre-order it?
If it were $299, I'd probably pre-order
$299. I think that's the lowest spot that you can take and make it a decent VR system. So this is a big win, possibly, for PlayStation VR.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Most people have PS4s. I think the number was 36 million PS4s have been sold, which is insane. So people are looking for new experiences on that all the time. They've been amping up the VR announcements. They say they have more than 100 games in development, all this stuff. So that's all well and good. If they come out and they say that their unit is $300, or I would say I think it's going to be $400 and be bundled with a game.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky. But if they do that, they're going to look like heroes now after so many people were let down by the price of this Oculus Rift.
And we've seen that before with the Xbox One and
That's true.
Stuff.
That's true. I thought it was a little strange because I thought PlayStation VR was supposed to launch before Oculus, but now it's very clear Oculus is coming out first.
Yeah, they're ready to go, it seems like.
Yeah, and PlayStation VR hasn't even announced launch games, a price.
No.
They haven't shown anything. They have a page open on Amazon that I was looking at, and I was like, can I pre-order this yet?
No.
Is this more than $400? I don't want it.
I hope not.
Yeah. So let's talk about VR just in general for a minute. What do you think about VR?
I like the concept.
Have you used it?
No.
Okay. I've used the Rift, and it's awesome.
I see. I've never used the Rift. So.
It's not gimmicky. That's the biggest problem. Like, motion controls are gimmicky, and this isn't that. It's just a new way to play, and games with it don't look impressive at all, really. They look like, why would you want to do that? But when you're in that world, it's fun, it's interesting, and it's something new that people haven't experienced. And just like 8-bit gaming, or even before that, like Atari Asteroids, shoot the asteroids, or Pac-Man, really simple things that are still fun. That's how I feel we are with VR. We're in that beginning phase where we're not going to get the amazing, incredible visual things and storytelling and stuff yet. We're still doing the Pac-Mans and the Asteroids, but those are still good games that are recognized to this day.
You got to start somewhere. Yeah.
Right. So this is very much Gen 1 of VR.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I'm very excited. I'm going to be getting a PlayStation VR. I thought about getting Oculus, but the fact that you have to have a high-end PC to run it, then it's this price, and it just kind of hurt it for me.
I don't like the Facebook approval business.
That's true, too. I mean,
and non-open source.
PlayStation's going to not allow people to do that either. Like, you can't just go through it, but
it's a PC.
Now, neither of them will, so I guess it doesn't matter anymore.
And that's half the reason you game on PC is
open source and mods and stuff,
yeah.
All right, that brings us to our thumbnail topic, which is
what?
Game of the Year, 2015. So overall this year, I wasn't very happy.
It's been a slow
with
year.
Releases.
It's been a slow year for me also.
Yeah. I'm not big into medieval open world games, so The Witcher doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I really liked Metal Gear. But just the big name games that almost everybody's giving Game of the Year to were not games on my list.
They weren't on my radar, not really.
So I made a little guideline for myself. You can explain your guideline if you want. I didn't give you any rules. I said, come up with rules and then pick games. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you have 10. I don't care if you have 1. Do whatever you want. Okay. So these were my rules. I said episodic games only count if they finished in this year, or in last year, I guess now. I wanted to cheat a way to get Life is Strange as an option because I haven't played it yet.
Oh, yeah.
And make it an option for 2016s. But my way of doing that doesn't work because I was going to say, well, it has to be a retail release. But Minecraft came out for retail last year, and it's not even finished yet. So that doesn't work at all. So I just have to admit that Life is Strange, I didn't get to it, and I couldn't play it. Now I have original U.S. releases count.
Yeah.
And we'll get to why I put that.
Yeah. I have a pretty good idea.
And then I put a little note that most of my games were ports and remasters, and that's not really fair. And this is why it wasn't fair. I was fine with this until Final Fantasy VII came out on PS4. Because it wasn't an emulation, so it wasn't just the same game, which I wouldn't count. Yeah. They added some things, but it is Final Fantasy VII, and it did come out this year. And I was like, I can't have Final Fantasy VII for the PS4 be my game. Like, that doesn't count. So with that, I just made a little list of some either ports or HD remakes or collections that I want to say would be in my list if those were my rules that I made up and then broke. So the first one is the Uncharted collection.
Which would be my game of the year, but I had similar rules.
Yeah, that was a great collection done by Blue Point Games, who's the best porting studio there is. They did a great job with that. The next one I have is Shovel Knight, which actually could have been in contention because I do count expansions.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the Plague Knight expansion very much. I think the original game is much better. And then I thought, well, the Shovel Knight amiibo, which came out, unlocks a 2-player mode and a whole bunch of new stuff. And I was like, that's an expansion, but it came out yesterday. So it would not count. The next one I have is collections. I have Rare Replay, which I think is the best collection probably ever.
Because it's huge.
Yeah, that, and not so much in games. The games are fine. There's good ones, but the presentation of that collection
it's
is
well made.
So good. They entice you to unlock things by playing all the games, and you unlock documentaries and concept art and all this stuff. The way it was put together was great, and I actually think that's the best collection and the standard that collections should have to meet now.
Yeah, it's really well made, well presented.
And then the last one is Mega Man Legacy Collection, because it's 6 really good games for cheap. Yeah, the collection's fine. Like, the challenge mode's okay, But if you haven't played those games, you should pick them up.
And I haven't.
It's 100% true. All right. So what were your Game of the Year guidelines? Were they pretty much the same as mine? Or?
Very similar to yours. I was a little more lenient toward expansions.
Uh-huh.
Because I included one.
That's fair. I was wrestling with putting an expansion on my list, not Shovel Knight, but the Guild Wars Heart of Thorns expansion I've loved. Yeah. But it just missed. So we have very similar games.
Surprisingly.
You have 3 games.
3.
I have 5. Okay. So I'm going to do my number 5 and number 4 because I know they aren't on your list.
Correct.
And then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. So number 5, Emily is Away. I really liked that game.
It was fun. We had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it's just a nostalgic trip down memory lane, and it really is. Like, that's the best way to describe the game. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say, look up Emily is Away, and if you have an instant connection to what you see, you should probably play the game.
You should play it. It's a lot of fun.
Very short. I don't know if I think it was free on Steam.
I think so.
I guess it's important to it. It's a PC game. Yeah. PC only. It has to be based on the type of game it is.
It does.
But I think it was free on Steam. I got it it was like an early release. They did pay what you want, and I threw a couple dollars at it to help them. And I really, really liked that game.
It was a lot of fun. Went through it a couple times.
Number 4 on my list. This is an HD remaster, but the original release was Japan only, so we've never actually had the game.
Oh, okay.
And that's Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. Gosh, I love that game. I'm about to get hated out. That's the best Final Fantasy game. I loved it.
I'm fine with it.
It's M-rated, which is different for... part of the reason I like it is it's very different for Final Fantasy. We were talking earlier that they do different things every time. It's M-rated. It's bloody. It's dark. The story's all about death. Yeah. Basically, they leave their soldiers. It's a unit of almost like Hogwarts for warriors. And they go into battle and they leave their tags and they go fight. And then when they come back on the mission, they pick up their tags, and any tags that didn't get picked up, they know that those people died. Yeah. But then they forget who died. So they'll go to the cemeteries and they don't know these people that they've fought with. And it's just it's depressing, it's sad, but the opening is a chocobo dying. I really do like the game. Gameplay wise, it's one of my favorite gameplay mechanics I've seen. It just blended everything I really like. Lots of risk versus reward. Yeah. So the way it works is you have your party, I think it's 13 people that you go into battle with, and if they all die, it's game over. But you can have any number of them die on your mission, and when the mission's over, they all come back. But if all of them die, that's when you get game over. So the whole thing is risk versus reward. You can sacrifice your characters to do certain attacks and summon monsters, and there's messages that'll pop up that'll say if you kill 5 soldiers in 1 minute, you'll get double experience for X amount of time. But if you fail, that character that you're playing as instantly dies, and then you'll have to swap to a new character. And I just really, really liked that. I was very shocked. I bought the game for the 15 demo. I made sure that the game was okay.
Yeah.
I waited for reviews, and they said it's like an 8 out of 10, whatever. And I was like, sure, I'll play it. And I got that, and the 15 demo was downloading, so I was playing Type 0, and I was like, man, I really like this game. And then I went to 15, and I played it for like an hour. I was like, I'm going back to Type 0. And then, I just beat it. I was like, this game is awesome. So number 3, you can kick off the number 3, because we have different number 3s, I believe.
My number 3 is the Star Wars Old Republic expansion, Knights of the Fallen Empire.
Tell me all about that, because I've never played
it's
any of the Star Wars MMOs.
It's basically just the Star Wars MMO.
All right.
That's all it is. No, I really like Knights because they went back to typical BioWare storytelling.
Does BioWare make that game?
Yes, that is all BioWare.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because it's the KOTOR people, or some of them.
Yeah, I'm sure
it's basically KOTOR 3 with a lot of extras. Because it's a couple hundred years after KOTOR 2.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to play it when they announced it, and then it had the monthly subscription.
Which is gone now.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't want to do that. And then they dropped the subscription, but by that time I was like checked out. And I don't like joining MMOs late because there's people that are already stronger than you. I like starting not knowing anything. No one knows anything. And everybody's like, I don't know what this item does. Does anybody?
People clicking on stuff and dying.
Yeah.
I did that once in SWTOR. It was terrible.
Yeah, so I really like starting MMOs from the ground up right when they start. And that's part of the reason I didn't get into it. So what's the expansion add exactly?
It added higher level cap, several new planets, a whole new host of companions to pick up and find, and it completely changes the story because there's actually a story for each different character that runs through SWTOR.
So it's a pretty, I don't want to say basic, expansion, but it's got all the notes that a typical MMO expansion would have.
Yes.
And then a bunch of story.
And then a fully voiced story.
That's nice.
That's the good thing I like about SWTOR is it's all fully voiced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really nice.
They did something kind of odd in the expansion though. I'm not sure I like. Is some of the selections you can do in your conversations. They went instead of using the circle they've been using from like Mass Effect, they went back to like the list style, which is weird. It's just different in the expansion. The entire rest of the game is the circle menu.
Oh, that is weird.
Weird. But it looks just like KOTOR because they bring the screen down, like they narrow the screen. It looks just like KOTOR.
Maybe they wanted to. Maybe if they is this the first expansion?
This is the third expansion. Oh,
never mind. There goes that logic. I was like, maybe they want to differentiate it from the normal game, but if they've already had expansions that looked the same, then I have no clue.
It's very odd, but I kind of like it. I feel like you're playing KOTOR again.
Mm-hmm. It's just a throwback.
It just makes me want to play KOTOR again.
That's fair. Re-release KOTOR.
Please, HD.
So my number 3, Splatoon.
All right.
I really liked this game. I didn't think I was going to.
It's nothing but fun.
That is true. I got into the technical test and I played it. I think it was an hour long because it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
It was you have to wake up at like 9 a.m. on a Saturday to make sure you're in the technical test. And I played it and I was like, that was really fun, but I'm not gonna buy a game that's all that.
Yeah.
And then the game came out. And then a week passed and I was like, I kind of want to play that game with the ink.
The ink
and the kids and the squids.
Kids. That's what they should have called it.
The kids squid game?
And the squids.
Well, that was the commercial.
Yeah.
They just keep saying, kid, you're a kid now, you're a squid now.
Fair.
But I went out and bought it, and then I was addicted to it. Fun fact, almost every video on my channel, while it was rendering, I was playing Splatoon.
Fair enough.
Just because it's right there. Yeah. And I would just turn 3-minute... So, let's break this down. I think this is the best way to do a multiplayer-only game, even though it has a single player. It's got like a 6-7 hour single player, which is good. But they released free content all the time. I just checked out the new map recently. I really liked it. It has conveyor belts that you can paint, but they're constantly spinning.
Oh, yeah.
So if you paint one side, the other side's still blank. So the other team could be painting the other side, and you don't know. So it's just rotating colors.
Just hang out at the conveyor belt.
Yeah, and then they put out free content all the time. They do some things that I'm not a big fan of. They do this level rotation, which I think is really weird. There's only 2 active maps for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
So you get one of those 2, and then 4 hours later, you'll get another 2. And there's been times where I've logged on, and I'm like, I don't like that map. That map's okay. Oh.
I'll play something else.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'll do a round. And like, it's... I don't understand their logic behind. I'm sure they have some.
There's got to be a reason
choice,
for it somewhere.
And then the other thing, I'm like, game of the year. Let me complain about it.
Well,
the other complaint I had with it that would have brought it up higher is I was just telling you about. They added a new game mode called Rainmaker, I believe, and I don't like that game mode at all. And much like the maps, the game mode is locked in for 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So I was playing, having a good old time, and then the 4-hour mark ran out, and they swapped everything, and I played, and I was like, I don't like this game mode, and I shut off the game.
Yeah,
I was like, that was it.
Yeah.
And part of the reason for that is they don't let you pick your... It'd be really simple to fix. Just let you pick your game mode instead of...
I get the rotating maps, but
pre-selecting your game mode's a little weird. But other than that, the shooter mechanics are awesome. The sound is great. It's probably my favorite soundtrack of the year as well. Really? Persona 4 Dancing All Night has a great soundtrack. I really like Splatoon soundtrack though.
Really?
It's very good. They just do little touches, like when you're in the ink, the sound lowers just a little bit, so it feels like you're almost like when you go underwater, and
kind of muffled.
There's so much polish. This was a very polished new IP from Nintendo. So our number 2 and our number 1 games are the same, just in opposite orders.
Correct.
We will start with my number 1, your number 2, Until Dawn.
What's happening until dawn?
God, I hate you. We come back from one technical hiccup, and this happens. Now, Until Dawn was a game that had no business being as good as it was. Sony I almost put that game out to die.
Yeah, they didn't seem like they had a lot of.
They didn't market it at all. No bundles, nothing. And the game came out, and I think they were shocked at how well it was received.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
Very Heavy Rain-like. Lots of Heavy Rain inspirations, lots of Beyond Two Souls inspirations, but they almost did some things better. Something I always say is the way, when you think of multiple choices in a game, typically it affects events.
Yeah.
And in this one, it affected personalities, which I thought was awesome.
Unusual, but I liked it.
Yeah, their character traits would totally change. They could be a jerk in one playthrough, and the next playthrough, they're really nice. And it all depends on your dialogue choices and things that you do and don't do. I don't want to spoil the game, but there was a point in the game where I found a bunch of clues, and the characters in the game were figuring out what was actually happening without the story telling them to, just from picking the things up and just stuff like that. It was really, really clever, really unique. I've played through it multiple times. I played through it with you and some friends. I played through it with my family. I played through it by myself. I played through it, or not completely through it, but I played half of it with my sister and her friend, and then she took it from me, and she currently has it. Yeah, she's like, "Can I just borrow this?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can take it."
You're like, no.
That game is real special, and I'm super excited for whatever sequel may happen. They're also doing a Until Dawn VR. You know about this?
That could be good. I've heard a little bit about it, but
it's not going to be good.
Why not?
Because it's a little spoilery. It has nothing to do with the story of the game. It's just an on-rail shooter, which is nothing like the game. Oh. Featuring the characters from the game.
That's unusual.
Yeah, but they've been working on it for a while. It was one of my favorite internet things that happened this year in general. Somebody asked them if they were going to do anything for VR, because horror and VR go so well together with Until Dawn. And he said, unless we have a sudden rush of blood, we're not going to do anything. Yeah. And it's called Rush of Blood. And I was like, that was cute. Very subtle way
it was something
to secretly say the name of your game and then
sneak it out there.
So anyway, Until Dawn, Amazing.
Very good game. Very well written.
Speaking of games that are surprisingly way better than they sound.
And well written.
And what best story of the year, Rocket League. Your number one. My number
Rocket
two.
League.
Very good game.
Extremely fun to play.
Probably just the most pure fun I've had playing a game since the old like James Bond games back in, when you
it's just
GoldenEye and you just get a room full of people and you're like, oh yeah, let's plant landmine things, sensory mines everywhere, and they turn the corner and blow up. What a great game! Yeah, Rocket League is so good.
It's just fun and well made. Polished.
I explained the premise of Rocket League to someone, and they're like,
"That sounds awful."
That's a good game. I'm like, "Yeah, it's real good," and they're like, "It's awful." And I'm like, "Here's the controller. I'll put the computers on, play one game,
drive the car into the soccer ball."
And they're like, "This is awesome. This is so fun."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Rocket League, another game that was brought up by streamers.
Yeah, this is a big streamer game.
The game was released for free on PlayStation Plus. Streamers got their hands on it. They really showed off the game. It blew up. It was sold so many copies.
Yeah.
And it's coming to Xbox One next month as well. So they're gonna get the love of the Rocket Leagues
eventually.
Yeah, though it's not cross play.
Not cross platform. Yeah.
Yeah. So like PS4 players can play with PC and PC can play with PS4, but Xbox is only Xbox. So I actually really hope that the game's free for Gold members in February to get that community going, because if it's not, I mean, it's not going to die or anything, but it
won't do as well as
it's not going to be as fun, because part of the fun is that game works. It's an online game that works.
It works really well
all the time.
Yeah.
You click match and you're playing a game. And I fear that if it comes out on Xbox without the free attached to it, the user base might not be there. But that game has such good word of mouth. They'll probably be they'll buy it anyway.
That's how that game is sold so well.
That's true. It's been a word of mouth game. I'm sure there was people that didn't download it when it was free. They're like, this game sounds awful.
This game looks terrible.
I'm not downloading that, and then it turns out to be this huge hit.
I think everyone I know is playing it. I guess I'll buy it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Also, my favorite just 4-player game probably in the past 2-3 years. Like, like I love Smash and everything, but man, this game's fun. You're yelling at your friends on the couch. Trying to set up
anyway, but
that's fair. Trying to set up goals and everything.
Oh yeah,
great game.
It's just fun.
It is. So now we're going to move on to the game releases.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is what's coming out this week.
What do we got?
It's an okay week.
Yeah.
Nothing great. It's early. All the big titles. Good one. All the big titles came out in November and.
Well, yeah, they were shooting for Christmas.
Yeah. So you know how we talked about Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And how there's not one coming out this year.
You're a liar.
Assassin's Creed Chronicles India coming out January 12th. I imagine a sequel, probably just a spinoff to the Assassin's Creed China Chronicles. Did you play those?
I haven't played the Chronicles ones.
Yeah, it's at 2.5D. I know the China comes out on Vita or just came out on Vita in like a disc form. I thought that, or not disc, but cartridge. And I thought that was kind of a weird time for that to come out. But I guess it makes sense now. They're gearing up for the next.
Getting everybody ready.
Banner Saga. Xbox One, PS4, January 12th.
I've heard that name. Not sure why I've heard that name.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I'm not sure.
I've definitely heard that name multiple times. I think it's a PC game coming to the Xbox One and the PS4.
That may be why I've heard the name.
Much like Gone Home and many others.
Yeah.
Tharsis.
Don't know what it is? Like the name.
Don't know what it is? Like the name. That Dragon Cancer. I can't believe that's a real game, first off. January 12th.
I got to look this up.
Yeah, I do too.
Curious.
I don't want to mess with this because it's recording, but I'm very tempted to look it up on your phone. Just look it up.
I got to look up that dragon.
Please read the description of That Dragon Cancer to me.
Well, I got to find it first.
Meanwhile, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 open beta January 14th for Xbox One and PS4. Didn't play the first one. Was kind of excited when they announced it. They gave it out for free on PlayStation for the PSX last year, or I guess 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And logged on, and it told me to log into EA's servers, and it didn't work.
Nobody wants to be on EA servers.
And I deleted the game. Literally right afterwards. I was like, well, I'm not ever going to play it. Pro Basketball Manager 2016.
Didn't know they made basketball versions of these games, but I like the football ones.
Yeah, I have no clue what they are at all.
And by football, I mean the soccer ones.
Is it all like stat-based?
Kind of. You get to set up like the soccer ones. You set up like your formation. You tell them how they need to react to certain situations, and you substitute.
Oh, so you're actually just like a coach.
You're literally just like the manager of the soccer team.
Huh.
And they're fun. It's a good way to kill some time.
And then does it like simulate the game?
Yes, you can watch the simulation of the game, or you can just have like a 2D of it. It's pretty neat.
That doesn't actually sound that bad.
It's not.
Dragon's Dogma.
Played the first one. About 90% of it. I never finished it. Wouldn't be your kind of game.
Yeah, January 15th. New Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arson. Yeah, I don't know what they are at all. Not one bit. Another game that I've heard of, much like Banner Saga, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I remember playing the first one. I remember it having this weird, like, Japanese rock song intro, and it was a medieval RPG.
And I was going to say, why wouldn't I like this?
But because it's a medieval RPG.
Yeah.
But it was quite fun, actually.
And then rounding out the releases, January 15th, Xbox One PC, Oxenfree. Oxenfree is a side-scroller Until Dawn, almost. I watched the trailer because I've heard so much good press about this game. And it's choice-based. Almost not to the extent of Mass Effect, I'm sure, but just dialogue branches that you can pick how you want to act and your personality and what you want to say. Much like Mass Effect, though, when you pick a dialogue, it says something that wasn't exactly what you...
Maybe close.
Yeah, it was sort of similar, but not dead on. And then halfway through the trailer, you're camping, doing whatever, you're a bunch of teenagers, and then you open a plane to a ghost dimension, and you get haunted.
I want to play this game.
I know. It actually sounds...
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It looked good. It sounds awesome, like reading the description. So, do you know what That Dragon Cancer is yet?
So I'm just going to read this tagline to you.
Please do.
A father, a dying son, and the quest to build the most profound video game ever. So I'm guessing the son has cancer, but...
I feel a little bad.
Yeah, I kind of thought that.
I'm not going to lie.
I kind of thought that would happen.
I feel a little bit bad.
Yeah.
But not enough. All right, so let's move on to what we're currently playing.
Not enough.
I've been tackling Final Fantasy 13. Love that game.
I know you do.
Oh my gosh. So that's kind of the hated Final Fantasy.
It's one of the
lots of people hate that game. And I'm starting to learn that I may like the newer Final Fantasies kind of a lot. I thought I was like a purist, Final Fantasy purist, and then I played Type 0, and then I played 13, and now I'm seeing the mass appeal. I mean, they still sell very well, but I'm seeing the appeal of these newer Final Fantasies that are almost more a linear story, but I just really like the characters, and that drives it enough for me. Yeah. As you'll see by the lightning hanging up here. Very soon.
How are you going to hang up lightning?
I hate you and everything you stand for. I've also been playing, I don't really know, Lego Dimensions. I'll skip one. Lego Dimensions, really love that game. I think I'm on the 6th level or something. I just play a level every day or so. I'm on the Metropolis level, the best level in the game.
Gross.
But yeah, I've done Doctor Who, which was awesome. I've done the Wizard of Oz. Like, this is by far the best Toys to Life game I've played.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that it makes you actually build the Legos and then take them apart and rebuild them when you upgrade, and they'll do things like do an attack where you have to actually move your character physically off the pad and then onto a different spot and things like that. It's just really creative and quite awesome and charming. And if I had kids, we'd be playing Lego Dimensions. Let me tell you.
Sounds like fun to me.
Seems like a great kids game. And then I also finished up Her Story, started and finished. I was told it was a 2-hour game. It's a lie.
How long is it?
I played like 4.5.
Yeah.
It is a puzzle game in all intents and purposes. So the quicker you are to piece things together, the faster the game's going to be. So I could see somebody doing it in 2 hours. I could also see somebody doing it in 7 hours. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the game. I liked it a lot. I wanted to play it because I knew it was pretty short. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't my game of the year.
Yeah.
And I played it, and it wasn't. It didn't quite hit that bar, but I did really enjoy it, and I'd recommend it to everybody that has a PC and is willing to give it a shot. Something unique. So what have you been playing?
SWOTOR. All the Old Republic.
All right. So is that it?
Mostly. That, and I'll probably start Life is Strange this week.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
yeah.
which way I'm heading.
I'm very excited to start that.
Yeah, I really want to play it. I've been hearing, nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, review-wise, it's been a little polarizing.
Yeah.
But people keep telling me that this game is right down your alley. You'll really like it, all this stuff. So I have it pre-ordered, the disc version, because I like having it on my shelf with all my stuff.
What stuff?
Yeah. So I pre-ordered the disc version. I'm going to go pick it up. I think it's next week. It might be, I guess it's the week after because it wasn't in the game releases.
In your releases.
But I'm very interested to see if people are right about me liking it or if I'm just going to play it and absolutely hate it and be like, you guys are crazy.
You guys are dumb.
But no, I'm very excited.
I think I'll like it.
Yeah, I think
Looking
it'll be
forward to
fun
it.
because we can talk about what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, we're about to jump into a segment called Unpopular Opinion, where we're going to be talking about... Go for it.
Mass Effect.
And
the Mass Effect trilogy, and why Mass Effect 1 is the best one of the trilogy.
So that is the topic for Unpopular Opinion. If you don't want Mass Effect spoiled for you, or, I don't know, if you don't want it spoiled... then this is a good place to stop. And thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe and share it. If you don't mind the spoilers or you've already played through the games.
Or you agree with me like a smart person.
Okay, Kellen. So please tell me why Mass Effect 1 is better than the much better Mass Effect 2 or the much, much better Mass Effect 3.
Well, 3 is the worst one, first off.
Okay,
they get worse as they
Give
go.
me your pitch. Why Mass Effect 1?
Well, for one, I actually like the Mako, unlike most other people in existence.
Yeah, you're not winning me over.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of loot games, like collecting loot and stuff like that.
That's fine. I'll give you that.
Which they take out of Mass Effect 2 and 3.
That's fine.
Because, you have like a 150 item slot bag, and you fill it up in Mass Effect 1.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I did, usually.
I did too, and I didn't even... Oh, yeah, let me give out my disclaimer.
Oh, God.
I played the games a month ago, I think. Maybe 3 weeks ago I finished. I played them all the way through, and I did the stories with a sprinkle of side... Not much at all.
You did
Mass Effect
story.
1, I only did the story, because I didn't enjoy it very much. Mass Effect 2, I did a little DLC, a little bit of things. And then Mass Effect 3, I did a couple side missions because I really liked Mass Effect 3 because it's better. So just so you know where I'm coming from, I played them all not one go, but 1 month time period. I didn't have to wait in between releases or anything like that. And they're new to me.
Yeah.
I just finished them. So that's part of the reason that I was happy with this topic coming up because I finished 1 and I didn't even really want to start 2 because I was just like, that wasn't what I wanted. And going into it, I thought I would like 1 the best.
I did too, honestly.
Yeah, I really did think I would like 1 the best.
It's the most RPG of the 3, at least to me anyways.
Right, yeah. And then it ended up being the action of 3 being the reason I liked 3, which is kind of strange.
Real backwards for you.
Yeah, that's not down my alley, but the shooting mechanics felt very right.
The mechanics and polish of 3 are nearly unbeatable. They're very good. Yeah,
the mechanics in 3, just everything felt right in 3, except for the story was a little weird for me with 3.
It's because you didn't do most of the story.
That's fine. Like 1 was a very simple story.
That's another thing I like about the first.
It's like a revenge
yeah.
story plot, whatever. As far as I understand, they were doing their thing, and then EA bought them in the middle of Mass Effect 2. and then that's when things got reworked. But Mass Effect 2 is typically regarded as the best
It's
one.
generally considered the best one.
You think 1's the best?
I do.
I think 3 is the best.
I think 2 is very, very good and very close to 1.
I think the only thing about 2 that I like more than 3 is I think it has better characters. I
And a
do
lot of
care about 2's characters, and when I went to 3 and 2's characters weren't A, with me off at the start,
Yeah.
and B, weren't they like show up for a mission to say hi and then they disappear, or maybe you kill them, whatever. That was probably the most disappointing part of 3 for me, is that 2's characters weren't in it, and that's saying something about the characters for 2.
Of course, you also thought Garrus was a bad guy, so...
Yeah, so the villain in the first Mass Effect, whatever species he is, I don't know. The villain in the first one is the same species as him,
Yeah.
so I was being racist and assumed he was a villain.
Well, he kills off one of his own in, like, the first scene.
He's got to make it convincing.
He's got to start somewhere.
He's got to make it real convincing.
Start killing now.
Yeah, so that was my reasoning for that. I'm very selective with... I don't know if you've ever seen me play a game. I pick something I like and I stick with it the whole game, even if it's the most difficult, cumbersome, like
The worst decision of
challenging
the
way
day.
to do something. I'm like, I like that character. Oh, the game's really hard if you play as that character. You shouldn't. I'm going to play as the difficult character.
Like you played with the Adept, who's all power-based and didn't use powers.
I did in the third one.
Oh.
They were pretty fun in the third one.
Yeah.
Except I couldn't figure out how to throw a grenade.
I think there's a button
In
for
the
it.
second one, I don't know if it was a bug or what.
The second one, I don't even think they have the grenades. You have the heavy weapons.
There was a mission in one of them. I thought it was the second one. I could be wrong. Where you get grenades that render people unconscious.
The gas grenades for the Thorian Creeper.
And
That's the first one.
and I couldn't equip the grenade no matter what I did. It wasn't in my equip menu. I couldn't figure it out. So I went and punched every single thing in the face the whole way through. Punched them all. And I passed the mission without killing anything.
Yikes.
Oh my gosh.
I do like the heavy weapons in the second one. Speaking of those.
Yeah, I mean, the second one was good. And I think maybe if I played 1 when it came out, it definitely didn't age as well as the other ones, for sure. And I think that's a big... not problem, but that's a big thing about this. If you played the game when it came out, going back to it isn't hard. When this is all new for you, it feels like, why do I run by holding X? Why don't I hit in the analog stick? I know you played on PC.
Yeah.
But
There's
I was
no
playing on the
analog.
PS3, which was the worst place to play the game.
That's one of the worst ports.
Yeah,
of
I
anything.
need the trophies. Why don't you run with the analog stick? Why do you throw grenades with the select
With
button?
The back button or select button.
Yeah, it was just like a bunch of really weird choices like that at that time may have been fine, but now all that stuff's been standardized, and there's a control scheme for
A pretty
every
basic
style
control scheme.
game that...
Yeah, it's WASD and a mouse.
Oh gosh, I hate you so much. But yeah, so that was another problem. With 3, as far as control problem goes, X was still run,
A storm.
and it was
Storm.
also activate,
So you can
and it was
sometimes just like
also
run into-
roll. So I'd walk up to a door and then just roll,
Roll into the door.
instead of opening it. I'm like, yeah, they could have
What the
picked
hell
a
are you
different.
doing,
They
Shepard?
could
Why
have
are
picked a
you rolling
different
around?
button for that. But yeah, Mass Effect 3 is the reason that I'm excited for Andromeda. Even though it's apparently made by another team.
Well, and they just lost their director a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true too, which I'm interested to see if the game actually comes out this year.
I don't think it will.
I thought it would up until the director news. But yeah, I'm excited for that one to play it as the other ones were played, because people do love the Mass Effect games. I'm definitely in the minority when I say I don't. I mean,
Oh,
I
I
beat
love
them and whatever, but people really do love those games, and I'm
been through-
excited to jump into the new one with everybody
Yeah.
and see if I'm as excited as they
It's a
are.
different experience. Because I actually didn't like Mass Effect 1 at first. At all.
Oh, so you're saying maybe there's a chance.
Like the first time I played the game, I didn't like it. I put it down for probably 2 months and went back to it.
Oh
It's
wow.
like, oh, I'm just an idiot. I love these games.
Wow. I've had games like that before.
And I've probably been through the game 10 times now. So
Well, it is
Just-
it is only 8 hours to get through.
It's like 30 hours.
Not if you play. Yeah, I think if you combine Mass Effect 1 and 2, that's how much time I have in Final Fantasy 13 right now.
You're a terrible human being.
I like me. So any other claims you need to make about your Mass Effect 1 liking?
I'm a big fan of its art style. It's kind of dark, kind of gritty. It's got the film grain. I love the film grain look.
Yeah, I shut that off because my console was crashing trying to play the game.
It's your own fault. We're playing it on the PS3.
Don't play it on the PS3. It's really bad.
It's not a good port.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
I love the film grain, though. It feels like an old war film kind of thing.
No, yeah, I get that.
Almost like you're watching a documentary kind of thing.
I get that. I like the jellyfish people. That's my favorite part of the game.
Jellyfish.
So who's your favorite character in Mass Effect 1 besides Shepard?
Well, Shepard.
Okay. Who's your favorite character besides Shepard?
Garrus, if you'll talk to him. And I like Rex quite a bit, too.
I've seen a lot of fan stuff about Garrus.
Garrus
people
is
really
like
him.
Garrus is like the biggest bro in like gaming history. He's just there with you.
Too bad he's a bad guy, so you shouldn't talk to him.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I also didn't talk to Miranda. I thought she was a traitor.
From this in 2?
Well, in 2, I knew you kind of had to. She was, but in 3, where she's like, hey, I need supplies and I need all this stuff. I'm like,
get your own.
You can do without it.
Get your own.
I think I'm done talking to you. Oh, you're going to show up as a hologram instead of tell me to meet you and then show up as a hologram, huh?
Uh-huh.
I see your commitment to this. I'm done talking to you.
What'd you do with Rex in the first game?
The frog?
Sure, we'll call him a frog.
He's a frog, right?
The giant armored up guy.
Nothing. I didn't kill him. I think there was an option to kill him.
There is.
And so does that work? Do you actually kill him?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Because he's a kind of major part in...
Not if you kill him.
So what happens during those parts?
There's just a different guy there.
Oh.
Like when you go to his planet.
I felt like that a lot. That was kind of a disappointing point towards me, and something that Until Dawn, bringing it back to that, did really well was their personalities changed and stuff. I did notice parts where I'm like, well, this would be Tally if I didn't get her attacked by a bunch of bee things on some planet and have her die and then blow up her whole race.
And then just wipe her out, yeah.
Yeah, so like I noticed that at points. I was like, well, this would probably be this person if they lived in my game, but I'm terrible and they died. Yeah. And this would probably be this person if they lived in my game, but I'm terrible and they died.
So, knowing how you went through Mass Effect 2, how many people did you lose at the end?
Only one.
You only lost one? It's kind of surprising.
Oh, no. I lost 2. I lost Tally, and I lost the scientist guy because I sent him out to die.
Wow.
Yeah. I lost...
So he wasn't in the third one?
No. He was dead.
Huh.
I tried to kill... What was his name? Jacob?
Yeah.
I tried to kill him.
The Michael Vick lookalike?
And I sent him in, like, to the most dangerous situation I could. And then it got to like the ending part, and I was like, "Oh, this is the part where he's gonna die." And then Tally died, who I actually I like. And I was just like, "Oh, well."
That's why you let her race die, because you already killed Tally.
Yeah, well, they have no point in living. The best person that they had's dead, so why should I keep them alive?
Yeah, she's dead and gone.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. That is why Mass Effect 1 is better than Mass Effect 2 and 3.
It is.
And if you made it through this unpopular opinion, be sure to like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends. Thank you, Kellen, for sitting down for this podcast with me.
No problem.
We'll speak with you next time.